Hello MotoGP enthusiasts. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Ducati Corse General Manager Gigi Dall'Igna says his initial impressions of the factory's 2027 850 cubic centimeters MotoGP prototype were very good. After private testing at Misano, with sweeping rule changes coming next year, new tires, renewable fuel, tighter aero rules and a smaller engine, Ducati's early confidence offers a useful barometer for how quickly manufacturers can adapt to the new era. Francesco Bagnaia arrives at Jerez candid about 2 years of frustration and hopeful that Monday's post-race test will deliver parts to restore the Ducati's more familiar character. The former champion says the GP25/GP26 lineage has constrained his riding style, particularly his braking and corner entry strengths, and he wants development that lets him exploit what made him fast in earlier seasons. Márquez has pushed back on the idea that Jerez will automatically narrow Aprilia's advantage, arguing that 3 very different circuits have already produced the same winner and that Aprilia, particularly Marco Bezzecchi, remain the benchmark. Márquez also reflected on the benefits of the recent break for his fitness and stressed that Ducati must keep working to close the gap step by step. Aprilia will run its 2027 850 cubic centimeters MotoGP prototype at Jerez next week, with test rider Lorenzo Salvadori scheduled to complete the machine's first on-track laps. The move puts Aprilia into the early development race for the new regulations and gives the team a timely opportunity to gather tire and engine data ahead of the 2027 season. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Dall'Igna described the maiden outing as encouraging. The prototype ran with the full package and behaved as the team expected, giving engineers a solid baseline for further development. He stressed that the bike is ready for continued testing and refinement. My first impression with the bike was very good. Everything worked well, and the bike is ready for further testing. Early stability from a new concept reduces risk in the development cycle and lets teams focus on performance extraction rather than basic reliability. Ducati's tests included the new 850cc engine, revised aerodynamics, and the absence of ride height aids, plus trials with Pirelli development tires and 100% renewable fuel supplied by Shell. Running the integrated package early helps identify interaction effects between engine, chassis, and tires. Testing the whole system together is crucial. Isolated component gains can be negated by unforeseen compromises elsewhere. Ducati plans further tests, with Michel Piros scheduled to continue development work. Honda and other manufacturers are lining up their own programs. KTM already debuted an 850 last December, while Aprilia and Yamaha are set to test at Jerez and later dates. Ducati's measured progress keeps it competitive in a crowded development race. The sequence and location of tests matter. Mugello and Misano provide different stressors that reveal complementary data for engine and chassis mapping. The switch to Pirelli, mandatory renewable fuel, and the ban on ride height devices are major variables. Dall'Igna emphasized that Ducati is validating the new tire and fuel combination now, which should smooth the transition when the rules take effect. The absence of electronic or mechanical aids will place a premium on chassis balance and rider adaptability. Rule changes that alter tire and fuel behavior often shift the performance envelope. Teams that understand those shifts early gain a development head start. For Ducati, early success means a reliable, predictable platform that allows riders to extract pace without compensating for instability. Dall'Igna's optimism suggests Ducati has a clear roadmap. Validate the concept, iterate quickly in targeted tests, and prepare for homologation and race validation next season. In a season of technical upheaval, consistency in testing outcomes is as valuable as headline lap times. Dall'Igna's upbeat first impression of Ducati's 850cc prototype is a reassuring signal for Borgo Panigale as MotoGP enters a major regulatory reset. If subsequent tests confirm the initial promise, across tires, renewable fuel and the new aero and engine rules, Ducati could enter 2027 with a competitive advantage. The coming weeks of testing at Mugello, Jerez and beyond will be decisive. They will show whether Ducati's early confidence translates into a race-ready package when the new era begins. Bagnaia described a deeper issue than a single setup quirk. He believes the GP25 and GP26 share a fundamental character that prevents him from riding as he used to. That DNA forces a defensive style and undermines his natural strengths, especially at the front end. The DNA of the GP25 and GP26, which is the same, doesn't allow me to express myself fully. When a bike's core behavior clashes with a rider's preferred inputs, incremental tweaks may not be enough. Resolving the mismatch often requires targeted changes to geometry, chassis stiffness, or front-end feel. Bagnaia singled out braking and corner entry, historically his advantages, as areas he can no longer exploit. He's altered his braking system to cope, but that adaptation has cost him pace and confidence. Restoring those attributes is central to his hopes for the test. My strong point, which has always been braking and corner entry, I can't exploit with this bike anymore. Bagnaia tempered expectations for the race weekend itself, suggesting major parts are unlikely to appear before Monday's test. He's banking on the post-race session to try components that could steer the GP26 back toward the behavior he prefers. For now, it looks like we won't have much to test during the race weekend, but we'll have something at the test. Bagnaia noted that other riders have voiced similar concerns, implying the issue may be systemic rather than personal. That raises questions about whether Ducati's development direction since 2024 has drifted from the package that previously suited its riders. When multiple riders report the same handling shortfall, engineers must consider structural changes rather than one-off fixes. That can be politically and technically challenging mid-season. Success for Bagnaia would be a test that produces a clear path back to the braking and turn-in characteristics he trusts, allowing him to ride aggressively without compensatory changes. Even small gains in front-end confidence could translate into markedly better race pace. Restoring a rider's natural toolkit often yields outsized returns, improved lap times, cleaner overtakes, and reduced crash risk. Bagnaia's frank diagnosis raises a red flag for Ducati. A 2-year drift in bike character that limits one of their top riders is a strategic problem. Monday's Jerez test is therefore more than routine development, it's a potential inflection point. If the parts and direction tried their restore front-end feel and braking confidence, Bagnaia could quickly climb the order. If not, Ducati faces a longer, more complex development task to reconcile the GP26 DNA with the riding styles of its leading riders. For now, Bagnaia's message is clear. He knows what he needs, and the team must deliver it to unlock his true pace. Márquez pointed out that the opening rounds featured 3 distinct circuits, tire specifications and layouts, yet the same manufacturer emerged on top. He used that consistency as evidence that Aprilia's advantage is not merely track-specific or temporary. We've gone to 3 different tracks, with 3 different layouts, 3 different rear tires, and the winner was the same one. When a package wins across varied conditions, it suggests a deeper performance edge rather than a fluke tied to a single circuit. Márquez was blunt about who sets the pace. Marco Bezzecchi and Aprilia are the clear favorites right now. His message was pragmatic. Ducati must improve incrementally rather than expect a sudden reversal at Jerez. Acknowledging a rival's superiority can sharpen development focus. Teams that accept the deficit early tend to produce more targeted fixes. The enforced pause since the US round allowed Márquez to work on his injured shoulder and address physical weak points. He believes the time off has improved his readiness to perform and to endure full race weekends. These 3 weeks at home were important because I was trying to work on my weak points. Recovery windows can be decisive for riders managing chronic injuries. Improved physical condition often translates into more consistent lap times and less mid-race degradation. Márquez admitted the first 3 races were difficult both on and off track, with flashes of speed but not sustained consistency. He emphasized that finding a repeatable way to ride the Ducati is the immediate priority. Short bursts of pace are encouraging, but championship campaigns require repeatable performance across race distance and conditions. Rather than expecting a single weekend to change the championship narrative, Márquez urged a measured approach: work methodically, close the gaps incrementally, and aim to be closer to Aprilia over successive rounds. Incremental gains reduce risk and build a more robust platform for long-term recovery in the standings. Márquez's stance is a reality check. Jerez is important, but it is unlikely to be a magic fix that overturns Aprilia's early dominance. His improved fitness and Ducati's ongoing development work are positive signs, but the championship will be decided by sustained progress rather than one weekend's turnaround. For Ducati and Márquez, the task is clear: chip away at the deficit, avoid costly mistakes, and use the European swing to close the performance gap step by step. Salvadori will remain on the current 1000cc RSGP during Monday's official test, before switching to the prototype on Wednesday and Thursday. Aprilia has already run the new engine on the dyno since last year, but this will be the first time the complete package hits the track. I will test the 850 here on Wednesday and Thursday. I can't wait to try the new era of MotoGP. KTM was the first to debut its 850 cubic centimeters prototype at Jerez last December. Honda has already tested with Takaki Nakagami, and Ducati recently ran Michel Pirro at Misano. Yamaha has conducted closed-door sessions with its own 850. Aprilia's debut at Jerez keeps them in step with rivals, ensuring they don't fall behind in the crucial early stages of development. The timing of prototype debuts is strategic. The sooner a manufacturer gathers real track data, the faster it can refine tire compatibility, fuel mapping, and aerodynamic behavior. Aprilia insists that the current RSGP remains a priority. Salvadori will test new components during the Spanish Grand Prix weekend, with successful upgrades passed to Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin for Monday's official test. This dual focus reflects Aprilia's determination to fight for the 2026 title while laying foundations for 2027. We are continuing to push also for this year. Factories must walk a fine line, investing in future prototypes without compromising current championship campaigns. Aprilia's strong 2026 form gives them the luxury of pursuing both. The 2027 rules introduce Pirelli as the sole tire supplier, mandate 100% renewable fuel, and ban ride height devices, alongside the reduction to 850 cubic centimeters engines. Aprilia's first laps at Jerez will be crucial in understanding how the RSGP adapts to these changes. Tire and fuel transitions are often the most disruptive elements of regulation shifts. Early testing helps manufacturers avoid surprises when the rules officially take effect. Jerez's blend of heavy braking zones, fast direction changes, and technical corners makes it a revealing circuit for prototype evaluation. Aprilia's decision to debut the 850 here ensures that the data collected will be relevant for both chassis refinement and engine mapping. A strong debut at Jerez would give Aprilia confidence and momentum, positioning them as early leaders in the 2027 development race. Aprilia's Jerez debut represents more than just another test. It is a symbolic step into MotoGP's new era. If Salvadori's laps confirm the promising winter data from Noali, Aprilia will have a solid foundation to challenge rivals in 2027. With Bezzecchi and Martin already delivering results in 2026, Aprilia is uniquely positioned to balance present success with future preparation. The next week at Jerez will not only shape Aprilia's trajectory but also signal how quickly each manufacturer can adapt to the most significant rule changes in over a decade. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!